the relationship between Micronesia and Hawaii. Do you want to touch upon that real quick?
I mean, it's realizing that we're all united. We weren't disconnected as a Pacific until Westerners came and literally wrote colonial lines dividing us by demographic things. Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia. Those aren't even terms of Austronesian descent. Like, I believe they're like Latin or something. I don't know. Even Pacific. Pacific means calm and tranquil. That wasn't even given to us by us. That's a Spanish gave us that term. You know, it's things like that, and it's re-indigenizing it. And then but then I get the argument from Pacific Islanders of, well, then pick a Polynesian name, you know. And it's like, dude, Apeli Hauofa, Oceanic scholar, he just said Oceania because it's all of us. If we name it just the Hawaiian term, what about the Maori? What about the Samoans? What about the Tokelauans? What about the Niueans, right? What about the Solomon Islanders? So Oceania is a Eurocentric word that kind of decolonizes it in a sense and gives it to all of us. But, you know, to go with that, you know, I did want to touch on some issues because in Hawaii there's a lot of bias and prejudice against the Micronesian community. And I think it's just from a blatant ignorance of people not understanding how and why they're here. So to give you the quickest version, in the 1940s and 50s, America started testing nuclear weapons in Marshall Islands, an island called Bikini, and it had about 200 people living on it. And one day these guys show up, and they've Christianized them already, and they said, "Hey, you know, God told us that He needs this land to practice with or something, and you need to leave, but you can come back." But they never told them when. So they were like, "Oh, if God said it, we'll go." So this whole village ups and leaves their indigenous lands. They've been there for 1,000+ years. And America just starts bombarding it with nuclear weapons. And they drop this Bravo shot on there that literally destroys this island. And since nuclear fallout that blows over the rest of a lot of the Marshall Islands and contaminates the people in the soil. And so they started having things like jelly babies, where like babies literally were born looking like jellyfish, like just mutant thing. It's sad as hell. And so the rest of Micronesia saw this and they said, "What the hell? No nuclear weapons through our land." And America said, "You want to bet?" And so one by one, America went to to the Confederate States of Micronesia and to like Palau even, and bullied them, like literally bullied them into allowing nuclear weapons and nuclear machines through their EEZ, which EEZ is their water zones. They're like legal water zones. So now our ships and our bombs could go through their lands and their waters. And they said, "We'll make you a deal." It started, I believe, in 1986, the COFA, Compact of Free Association. They said, "We'll give you guys X amount of money and we'll allow you guys to live in the United States. And you can use our healthcare and such." Which it wasn't as good as normal healthcare, blah, 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 but whatever. And a lot of them said, "Hey, heck yeah, it's a way off the rock." And so a lot of the nations signed up for that reason, but like Palau said, hell no. They fought it. It wasn't until some people were getting assassinated, like leaders were getting assassinated, that they finally had to, the vote finally went in favor of allowing nuclear weapons. But the reason there's so many Micronesians here, honestly, is because America bullied them into allowing nuclear weapons in their waterways. And that's the fact of the matter.